For 3 days, she watched the world from a distance. Not growling, not barking, just waiting, unsure if anyone was safe enough to trust. Joe, a 4-year-old stray, had taken shelter in an abandoned garden. Overgrown grass brushed her thin frame as she moved carefully between broken pots and rusted fences. No one knew how long she had been wandering before she chose that place, only that she stayed there for 3 days. Alert, distant, surviving. Whenever rescuers approached, she stepped back, her ears lowered, her body angled toward escape. There was no aggression in her eyes, only caution. The team quickly understood. Joe didn't need to be chased. She needed time. They left food and water in the same spot each day. Joe waited until they stepped away before creeping forward to eat, but slowly, the space between them began to shrink. Then one quiet afternoon, something shifted. Instead of retreating, Joe allowed a rescuer to sit a few steps away while she ate. Her body remained tense, but she stayed. That small choice, to remain, was her first act of courage. Soon after, she was gently guided into a carrier and taken to the clinic. In the examination room, surrounded by unfamiliar sounds and scents, she stood still. Her eyes were wide, yet no longer searching desperately for an exit. Fear was still there, but now it shared space with something fragile and new: trust. The medical check brought relief. Joe was healthy, no injuries, no hidden illness. Her guarded heart had protected a strong body, but the real turning point came later that evening. At the rescue home, she was given a quiet corner with soft blankets. She circled cautiously, sniffing every edge. Instead of pressing herself against the wall, she paused and looked at the volunteer nearby. Their eyes met. For a long moment, everything felt suspended. Would she retreat? Instead, Joe slowly lowered herself onto the blanket. She didn't fully turn her back, but she lay down. It was a small gesture, yet it meant everything. She was choosing to stay. That night, for the first time in who knows how long, Joe slept deeply. No sudden jolts, no startled awakenings, just steady breathing in a room that felt safe. Trust doesn't arrive all at once. It grows quietly. The next morning, Joe stood near the yard entrance, watching the other dogs from a distance. Her tail stayed low, but it wasn't tightly tucked anymore. When a volunteer stepped outside, she didn't retreat. She simply observed. Later, the volunteer crouched and extended a hand without speaking. Joe hesitated, then stepped forward. Her nose twitched. One more careful step. She gently touched her nose to the volunteer's fingers before stepping back. It lasted only seconds. But it was a beginning. Over the following days, those seconds grew longer. She ate while someone stood nearby. She walked beside a volunteer instead of trailing far behind. Her tail began to sway slightly when she heard familiar footsteps. Then came her breakthrough. One afternoon, the yard gate opened and the other dogs burst into playful chaos. Joe watched from her usual spot. Something inside her shifted. Instead of staying back, she ran forward, awkward at first, unsure how to join. A playful bark rang out, and this time Joe answered. She chased, she turned, she ran. For the first time, her tail lifted high and wagged freely. The volunteers smiled quietly, not just because she was playing, but because she was no longer guarding her heart every second. Her eyes softened. she began seeking touch instead of avoiding it. At night, she approached the couch and rested her chin gently on a volunteer's knee, silently asking for affection. The distant dog in the abandoned garden was slowly disappearing. In her place was a dog learning joy. Today, Jo no longer watches life from afar. She runs toward it. She lives surrounded by routine, gentle voices, and steady care. When someone calls her name, she comes eagerly. Her tail often moves before her paws do. The garden she once hid in is only a memory now. In its place is a yard filled with movement and laughter, where she plays without fear of being chased away. Sometimes, what a lost animal needs most isn't force or urgency. It's patience, the quiet promise that no one is going to leave. If Jo's journey touched your heart, please leave a comment, share her story, and subscribe to support more rescue journeys like this. Because somewhere out there, another quiet soul may be waiting, just a few steps away from trust.